Make it massive or move on. Hey, startup founders. Today, from the book, I am going to talk about tip number 3, which is about having a big idea. The big idea, make it massive or move on. Why do I talk about massive ideas? Why do I care about massive ideas? Surely small ideas are good as well, right? Well, they are if you want a little mum and pop business. That's great. And you've got some friends and families and fools, which is the other ones that invest into you. If you want them to put their money into you, then a small idea can be great. And that's fine. When I'm talking here about a massive idea, I'm talking to people who really want to get investors to come and invest in you. Why massive ideas? It does 2 or 3 things. The first thing is a massive idea usually meets a massive unmet need. And you've got to have a real need that you're trying to get an idea for. An idea of its own, just for the sake of an idea, rarely ever becomes a good business. The second reason why you need a massive idea is you're trying to attract investment. An investment is about a business, and a business is about making profit. And if you can't make big profits, you can't give the money back to the investors. So therefore, you need a big, massive idea to get investors, especially professional investors, to come and take notice of you and put the money into you. Small ideas, you're going to fight really hard to convince them of A, why they should put the money in, and B, how they're going to get the money back. So have massive ideas. And I know everyone's going to say, well, not everything can be massive. It can be bigger than you think. If you've got an idea and it's a really good idea, think about how it can be a multiplier idea. How can it reach a bigger market? How can it serve more people? So for example, if you have a business that's making, I don't know, a piece of software, and that software is only applicable to maybe 100 customers in the world, could you tweak the software so that it becomes applicable to 10,000 customers, 100,000 customers? Can there be 2 versions of it? Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But your idea has to be massive. And you'll hear often about the total addressable market, or the TAM. Oh, stop, like and subscribe. The reason I say this is that I'm going to have a lot of useful information for you here. And if you don't like, subscribe and turn on the notifications, you won't get notified. And then you'll forget. And then you'll say, oh, who was that weird guy in the purple hat who gave us that advice? So I'm here now. Like and subscribe now. Don't wait. Do it right now. And you get way more information that'll make your startup survive. Do it now. Like, subscribe. But basically, the TAM is the total addressable worldwide market that your product or your idea could serve. It's a good indicator of how massive it can be. It's not real for how much you can actually achieve of it. That's the serviceable addressable market. But the TAM's a good sort of starting point to think about a big idea. So if you can't get to the hundreds of millions of people or the hundreds of millions of dollars, or it doesn't serve something really big, it's going to be really hard for you to attract investors and trying to find the customers. Because you remember, not every customer is going to come to you. So if you've only got a world population of 100 customers, and you've got to get all 100 to have a viable business, it's not going to work. So when you sit down and have these ideas, and everyone has these ideas, you've got to sit down and say, is it a great idea? Yes. Is it a real need that we're trying to get into? Yes. To become a very good, profitable business. Because if not, for the day after that idea forwards, you are going to struggle every moment to convince customers, but more importantly, to convince investors that this is a good place where they should put their dollars. They have lots of opportunities every day to put their money into places. And if you can't give them a really compelling reason of why your business is big enough, important enough, fixes a big enough problem, then why won't they just go and invest in somebody else who's got a bigger idea? So that's it, really. It sort of tells you in here a little bit more how to do that. But what I want you to do is get deep into, when you have these ideas, you need to have big ideas. Now, half of you are going to be sat there saying, but I've already had the idea and we're already in the middle of this. That's fine. Look at how you can expand that idea. If it's not big enough and you're struggling to get investors to come into you, start thinking about, okay, how do we make the idea bigger? How do we add features onto it? How do we make it slightly different? How do we pivot? And that's a word we're going to talk about in some other videos, pivoting and pivoting fast. But if you're struggling to raise money, if investors are sort of saying, it's all right, good idea, nice idea, but not sure we want to put our money in, it's generally because it's not big enough and exciting enough for them. So what you've got to do is you've got to get yourself into a position where your idea, pivot slightly, change it slightly, make it a little bit more interesting, make it to a little bit of a bigger market, and try and expand it and make it a big idea. Well, that's it for today. Keep going.